Hi everybody. I'm still getting everybody else on the call, so give me just a minute, and then we'll get started with what is going to be a great stream. This is so good of a remaster. I can't wait to dive into it. And look at how, because Final Fantasy IV has more versions of its music than any of the other Final Fantasy games at this point, we'll be taking a look at all the other ones of those as well, as soon as folks connect and get ready here. We'll give everybody a minute or two. We're kind of chasing time here. Skype is forcing an update on somebody. Other folks are scrambling. You know how it is. Hope everybody's doing well in the meantime. Unfortunately, I can't hit new game because it just takes off. That's one of the big important things about Final Fantasy IV. Hi, Darth Plagle. Yes, the remake is so good. I'm actually going to mute it for just a split second because I also have for us to listen and compare. Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Heads up, we're live. We are going to be listening to the original Super Nintendo Final Fantasy IV, the Nintendo DS and PSP remake versions. Those two remakes have the same music. And the WonderSwan edition, occasionally. But one of the cooler things that we are going to be looking at, and not a lot of people have this, even though it's freely available on the internet, and it is incredibly awesome. Let me bring this up here as a source. Matthew Valente tracked down the original hardware synths used as samples for the Super Nintendo and reprogrammed the entire Final Fantasy IV score on them without any of the Super Nintendo compression. Dana and Julianne have this, or at least have heard me talk about it before. But we're going to do some listening and comparing to that to look at what a more pure remaster might have looked like, as opposed to this remix that we're getting in the Final Fantasy IV score. More of that later. We'll pop that source on when I'm using it. Hey, Julianne. I see you. Your hat is awesome. I do not hear you. Pixel Remaster is really good. I'm going to turn the sound back on. Let me share it on Discord with folks so I can actually do my job here.
Skype. Am I not audible still?
You're good now, Julianne. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Final Fantasy IV is live on Discord for my Skype friends, so you all can see it.
Watch stream. Bam. Alright, now, more important things, I should change my background. Settings.
Before I hit new game, we're just going to go into the music player for a minute, and because most of you know this, Final Fantasy IV is not new to most of us on this stream. When I hit go, the Red Wings track will start. And I thought we'd just start with a quick comparison here. This is the Red Wings track as it sounds on the Super Nintendo. This is also an excuse to wait for Karen for one more minute, everybody.
Is it playing?
It should be playing for you now, Julian.
Oh, text.
So again, this is the Super Nintendo original, right? Kind of foreboding piece we'll be getting into shortly. I really like, it's not quite detuned, but that trumpet sample always sounds just a little bit off to me. In a good way.
You listen to going into like a dissertation defense, just like it's got a sense of foreboding, but it also kind of pumps you up at the same time.
Yes. Now let's look at what that sounds like without the Super Nintendo compression going on. I'm actually going to open this in not Winamp.
Can I just congratulate you on your word choice around the Machiavellente, because nothing pisses me off more than when people are like, well, this is how it should have sounded, or like, this is, you know. Ugh.
No, I'm not making any judgments about any of this.
And I know
right?
you're not. I'm just congratulating you on just saying, like, it's really interesting to hear that.
Yes. Now, on this edition of the game, though, what I will argue is that the detuning part of that trumpet sample is gone from the more pure, uncompressed version here. Mm-hmm. Right? The right note is, in fact, being played, but there's a compression issue that is charming, right? There's a charm to it for...
I must admit that I don't really hear a tuning issue with the original Red Wing, although all of Final Fantasy IV is tuned very weirdly, so it might be part of that. Everything's really sharp on that SNES.
Yeah.
And what I actually like about the SNES trumpet sample is that it sounds more piercing, and maybe that's how I'm hearing it.
Maybe.
It cuts.
It cuts through as if it is like that singular trumpet playing taps, like that kind of solemnity that it cuts through. For that, actually, I get that more in the original than I get in the remaster, whatever this is called, pixel, whatever.
It's officially a pixel remaster, but musically it's more of a remix in my own kind of parlance for this, right? Whereas in my mind, a remaster does not touch a lot of the original things and doesn't make a lot of changes. It just updates it for a modern platform. The music changes significantly in the pixel remasters, right? Let's jump forward in time but backwards in technology very quickly to the WonderSwan edition of this game, which I love because it's more of an 8-bit sound.
WonderSwan.
All right.
I'm just playing this version to point out that it exists, primarily.
Okay.
I love it.
And what's really fascinating about that is that the kind of like accents. The note seems like it's getting hit and then pulling away.
Yes.
But really,
I wonder if that's simply from the other instruments kind of also hitting at the same time. It makes it sound like that, rather than actually implemented that way.
Maybe. Shout-outs to my brother, who just bought 4 WonderSwans. If you know Tom, you know Tom. Okay.
that's a lot of WonderSwans.
Lastly, before we hit go on this thing, and we will not compare this way every track. It takes up too much time, right? Here's the Red Wings on the Nintendo DS and PSP remakes. I'm not a fan of these remakes of the track. Neither were Dana and Julia, and I have it on video that they did not like this.
I remember. I don't mind the hot face.
I don't.
Everything else is a mess. But yeah, the bass is like really dominating the texture here.
Yes, okay. Very quickly
It's
to
like
kind
you
of...
just want to tell him to turn down his monitor just a little bit.
Yes, as a quick palate cleanse, back to the original Super Nintendo one, and then we'll get going.
Which one then?
Alright, I'll keep my Super Nintendo soundtrack very handy as we play, but let's primarily compare that edition to the modern one. We don't need to go back and forth 6 times for each track.
Here we go!
It is a good exercise to do once, though, to point out that there are a lot of versions of this.
I reserve the right to ask for direct comparisons on any track, though, right? Like
I know. I would.
If you all want to stop and look at others, we can.
I won't do it for everything, but there's a few that I would be interested in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got all the lists up. You just ask. Let's
Brilliant.
do this.
All right.
I have my Snoop Dogg rosé. I'm like ready to go.
Oh, I have no drink tonight.
What? Goodness gracious.
I almost went out and bought some Snoop Rosé because I felt like I had earned it, but I decided not to.
Oh.
I will say, touching this soundtrack a 5th time is dangerous. That's true of the art
Very
as
orchestral.
well. Weirdly for me, I'm going to talk about the art for a brief moment. Worse is not the right word, but it looks closer to the 8-bit games to me in this still than the original does, where they're trying to push forward the technology and differentiate it from the Nintendo. Here, one of the goals of this collection is to make similar the first 3 and the second trilogy, right? And I think they are trying to do that here. Cecil's sprite looks more like Final Fantasy III's sprites than they used to, which is interesting. The soldiers,
looks like he's wearing
especially.
a little bat costume. Doesn't he look like he has little bat ears and then bat wings?
He does.
Very cute.
He is a Dark Knight. It's not the Dark Knight.
Yeah. Legally distinct Dark Knight.
I love the re-instrumentation of all the sections. I love it.
Hello, strings coming in an octave higher, and
There's this cool new line, the da-da-da-da-da-da stuff.
Yes.
It's good.
noodly, noodly, noodly.
As a woodwind, gotta do it. It's our job.
There is a new translation as well. That's not our specialty, but that is just as dangerous for this game as touching the soundtrack is. It's very contentious. There is a 17-page Legends of Localization article dedicated to talking about all the different English translations of this thing, including 2 fan ones. On the whole, I think this is pretty good. They make some decisions that are not what the PSP game and DS game do, for the better. We'll get to the first one of those very shortly. It's one of the most obvious ones to point at.
I like the doodly doodly parts too. I love it. Julianne, what thoughts? What capitalized thoughts do you have?
Oh, I have some thoughts on the translation, the retranslation in some weird parts. But I've only played up to I haven't even started the Magnet game, whatever that is. But I'm also not listening to the music until I encounter it in the game too. So
I didn't do any pre-listening to the new one.
Okay.
great.
That's
Great.
good, though, because having one of us with a completely fresh take is desirable here.
Yeah, because I didn't buy the Pixel remasters. I just have too much on my docket. This will probably happen at some point, but
I'm pretty fresh in all ways, so you got me there.
I actually think the doodly doodly parts are the biggest change here. I'm going to continue to use that terminology. That's amazing. Thank you, Anthony Dennis. Alright, let's land this thing and hear some new music now.
Bam, 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 bam.
That water shader exactly returns, and that's good. This is the best pixelated water in the business. Look at this.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that water. Just stared at it.
oh, the violas would love this. Brass right where it should be in this castle
As
theme.
far as I remember, this track's pretty faithful.
One of my problems with the PSP edition of the music for this track and a lot of tracks is that the instrumentation is okay, but the mixing's not very good. They have fixed that for this edition of the game. The brass not only enters instrumentation-wise when it's supposed to, as good orchestration, but it doesn't puncture the soundscape like a MIDI does. Right? Because this has been professionally recorded and mixed in a way the PSP game was not.
Now, is this an actual orchestra?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Ooh. Nice string articulations there. That felt downright lilting.
It's very good, yes.
It is very good.
It's one of the things that you can get with live orchestra that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, I'm going to probably
samples.
make a lot of comments on articulation tonight.
Mm-hmm. They're still electronics, like that's an electronic sound effect, right?
Right. Yes, there should be. I would
absolutely.
I would not like them gone.
Translation thing, the king longs after the crystal here for just a moment, which is cool.
Da, da, da.
Beautiful.
Beautiful to behold.
Oh, beautiful.
One of the best things about Final Fantasy IV in the original is that there is no music here, and it enters right at this point for dramatic effect, and they've kept all those types of things, and they could have wrecked it. It's very important that the music lines up with the dialogue here. Right?
Now we get sad red wings.
Yes.
I know.
Drooping wings.
Again, the color scheme on these two knight attendants has been diminished. There's not as many colors as there were on the Super Nintendo, and that's to elide Final Fantasy III into Final Fantasy IV. Smart art decision there as well. Final Fantasy IV, as a trivia thing, was started on the Famicom. There are screen stills of the fourth title in Famicom form.
I've seen some of those, probably because you've sent them to us.
And it's later converted for the Super Nintendo.
Your Majesty.
I mean, it's either you or, like, Joe showed them to me at some point.
I also want to say I'm so glad there's not any voice acting.
Yes.
So glad that what?
No voice
They
acting.
didn't add voice acting.
Yes.
Like,
I
The
don't think
DS
I would
version
handle
has
that well.
full voice acting for all the important lines of cutscene dialogue, and it's not good. No hate to those voice actors. We are given the bomb ring here, as opposed to the package, or almost worse, the Carnelian Signet in the PSP
come on,
game.
That's amazing.
it's so interesting that they're just like, yeah, this is a bomb. Like, in the original, it was package, right?
In the original Japanese, it's bomb ring. Literally.
Oh,
And-
but that was translated just as package in Final Fantasy
It's a
IV,
censorship
too.
issue in the US Super Nintendo cartridge. And they try to make it fancier by calling it a Carnelian Signet ring, which I'm not opposed to necessarily, but it's also an embellishment that was not present in the original, right?
But it gives it away though, because I guess I didn't know as a kid that I was gonna bomb this town because I didn't have
Right,
something
and
called a bomb
when you
ring.
carry
I
the
was
bomb ring into the
just
town, it's pretty easy to predict. P.S. We're gonna go kill a whole town as the start of this
yeah,
game.
I don't know if I like that they give it away. I think package is much more effective.
Yeah, even if it was
Because
not,
it also implies that Cecil doesn't know what he's about to do. You get handed a bomb ring.
it's
Right.
just a bomb.
And
It's
I
just
do
awesome.
like, and the plot is read as Cecil not knowing what he's about to do. That's very
Yeah.
clear in about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I actually almost prefer it as the fancier Carnelian Signet, where
Yeah.
you're given a ring, so the noun is accurately translated,
Yeah.
but it is embellished in the spirit of the censorship of the original that elides the meaning from Cecil and not necessarily the player.
Right.
Man, we're gonna have
I
a
don't
dissertation
like
defense on this
exclamation
game by the time we're done with it.
I don't like the exclamation points when you are near something that you can grab because it removes the mystery of finding
Yes.
random things in the woods.
Yes.
In defense of having to not wanting to walk over every single square tile of this entire massive game, I like it.
of us only had this game and no other games, and it was fun to explore.
Yeah.
Fair.
Some of us
So
still
here's an
have
art
games like
coloring
that.
question, and we have to do this now because we're not going to see Rosa's sprite in this form again tonight. What do you think of Rosa?
Her sprite?
Her
Yeah,
hair
the
looks
art.
lighter.
She is
Her hair
more
looks
blonde.
A lot lighter, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't she more like strawberry
Ashy,
blonde?
dirty blonde or something.
Yeah.
I agree with
very
Darth
like
Plagueil
She's got
here.
a little bit more platinum.
If we are eliding all of the games together, that's a really smart take. It's a very Celis-looking Rosa.
Yes.
Translation issues again. I pointed this out on Twitter live right when the day launched, and I didn't think they had touched the translation very much. I'm glad to be wrong on that front, but there's a very subtle in-joke right here that the new translation missed and left in, which is too bad. This specific way of turning this phrase is a reference to the popular internet horrible website Something Awful, where their forum members are known as goons.
Oh.
But it's so subtle that you have to really be an insider to that community to catch it. But that's why it's worded this way. It's not because it's that way in the Japanese. It's because there are some pop culture references in the Game Boy Advance version that got stuck in like this that have not been removed since.
It's just not been removed.
Hi, Jessica.
Hello, Jessica.
All right.
They do add more text, more explanatory text, generally, in this beginning at least. Like Cain, we'll talk about his dad for a second, like stuff that you didn't have in the original that you might have had to piece together. I like it, more lore.
Yeah, in fact, here we can go have that talk very quickly. It's not new to the Pixel Remaster. It's in the Game Boy Advance and future translations, but all this stuff, right? Cecil does apologize to Cain. He just says, "Sorry, Cain," and there's like one sentence in the Super Nintendo version.
A lot of ...
And all it is don't be. It's fine, right?
It's fine.
Here,
Wait,
it's heavily
let's put in
implied,
Dvorak
and I
9.
can't...
Is Andrew trolling us?
What?
I'm trying to picture Dvorak 9 Movement 4.
Isn't that dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun?
Right. But it starts out with like the Jaws thing, right? The half step. Da-da.
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah.
But where is that in this track?
So, I'm glad Julian had me go back and do this. Read this line. My father was a dragoon, but he passed away when I was still young.
Mm-hmm.
Canonically, what they are trying to do with this, in Final Fantasy II, there's a dragoon who dies and leaves a wife and child behind. That's Cain, is the little kid in Final Fantasy II. And he grows up an orphan, moves to Baron, and is raised by the king.
They are making connections, and not just artistically. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess I hear what Andrew's saying about the da 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 da.
Oh, maybe,
the climbing a little bit, but I definitely don't read it as a quotation. Maybe a reference or an allusion. Yeah.
But it is implied in other
I'm with you now.
editions
I was like, what am I missing?
that
The whole time it's
that Cecil and Cain
now-
are both
now I know.
orphans. Unfortunately, that whole idea of the plot is left behind pretty quickly when we realize that the evil king of Baron isn't actually the person in charge, right? So we don't come back to the real king, who is dead at this point, in fact.
Spoilers!
I've changed your shades.
I know this is not the first time we played this game, Ryan, but spoilers!
Sorry.
Come on.
This is one of the tracks we might want to cross-reference and compare coming up, by
I
the
think
way.
so. It's
I miss the beeping clock sound. That was always so goofy.
The beeping clock was
Beep.
kind of a limitation, though, right? This is better.
It is not. It is an affordance of magical properties.
Do you want me
check
to
all
click
the boxes.
into the next track, this edition first, or do you want to hear the Super Nintendo one first, everybody?
Let's Super Nintendo first.
Okay, I'm going to mute the clock. Sorry, Julianne.
Don't we wish we could do that in real life? Mute the clock, stop time. Get shit done.
Here's the Super Nintendo version of Rose's theme. It's in conversation for it, Slurgy. Hi, Scott.
Hey, strong words. Oh, so good. That arpeggio moment alone is what makes this track.
Before this piece of music, video game orchestras didn't swell like that, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, then we slow down again and kind of loop. I'm gonna unmute the clock here.
Here we friggin' go.
I'm ready.
By the way, for those of you who
Ready.
don't recognize the handle, Slurgy is the guitarist from the Nakvim concert last summer who covered Hades.
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Your music is beautiful.
That was so good.
Thank you. Thank you for existing.
Thank you for your service. That was
Yes.
great.
Again, a big moment in the dialogue that triggers the music here. We've talked with John Robert Matz about that when he was here for Ambition. It's really good here, in a way that other Super Nintendo games were not at this time.
That stream was so fun. And not just because of the powdered wig. Although the powdered wig was a big part of it. I love a theme party. I always have.
So here we go. I'm going to turn this up a little bit.
Ooh.
English horn as the romance instrument is a thing in film scoring, but I like it. It's a good thing.
Oh.
And the flute taking it over. Really beautiful.
Oh, that's right. Dana hasn't heard this yet.
Okay, that didn't feel quite as big to me.
It's
I think
not
we already
quite
had a
as
medial
big.
swell.
It's a little more subtle.
I'm telling you, because of the medial swell, we stepped up.
I popped the chocobo.
Clarinet thing. And
Yeah, it doesn't loop right there. We have more still now.
Here for it.
The background stuff has allusions to 2 or 3 other love themes in Final Fantasy now, rhythmically. That wave motion added. And that's the loop, actually, right there, on the swell now.
Mm.
Right. The clarinet loop repeats forever. You only get the first one once.
Sorry, English horn. Justice for the English horn.
Now we've got the big piece, right? This is the full intro to the prologue. That kind of is the introductory piece for the Super Nintendo. I always think of it that way when I hear it.
Lead the way. Oh, I love that little term. Yes! And so, the stuff I love
This is exactly how I expected this to sound.
One of the things I'm most proud of in my life is, and Julian guffawed for like half an hour when she read this, I think. My first 240 character tweet was this paragraph.
Yes! Yes! Like, test of the
Such a smart move. No one else, like, I was just like, oh cool, I can tweet more. I didn't think about it. And Kate comes into the conversation with the very appropriate, look at those mountains.
mountains.
Not surprising. Very on brand. Very on brand, Kate.
Unrelated to our musical interest in this. Oh, before that though, man, that counterline in the brass is so good here. Yeah. The Final Fantasy franchise has always been political. All your games are political, right? You're like an anti-militant activist here who is going to take down a corrupt government. I like that it ends right on tonic. I didn't do that. It just, it cuts there.
Yeah, I think it fades out. Oh.
Okay, don't do anything for a moment. I want to hear this.
Yeah. Passing the melodies back and forth across instruments is real smart.
It sounds like a chamber ensemble stuck with like a rock band that's really holding back.
I don't love
I'm thinking
the
of the drum
drums.
part, the piano part, and the bass. Yeah, the drums are a little strange.
We'll go to the repeat up here.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
agree with Scott.
I agree.
That's really the problem
it
with
doesn't
it.
seem to match where everybody else is sitting. I agree.
The piano's killer though.
Sit now.
Yeah, the piano's a fun choice. Not one I was expecting necessarily, but I like it.
That little slide in there on the...
Yeah. Like, hello, surprise.
Right, there we've looped at this point now. I'm gonna go into town, because there's a track we have to hear now, or we can't hear it.
Oh. I'm not gonna get over that exclamation point. So many ornaments.
It's not exactly the remake arrangement, for what it's worth.
There's a cool middle phrase.
Yes. We'll let this one play all the way. The track we have to come here now to hear is the dancer theme here.
Yeah.
This is technically not new, but it is new to the game. I will speak to this in just a moment.
Little pizzicato action up in here.
Okay, 2 things about that extra tag at the end. No, 3 things. 1, we are avoiding the half cadence when possible by the extension of the arrangement. That's true of all of the Pixel remasters thus far, and it holds here. 2.
Interesting. Submit that to SMT. All right, bye.
I've published on it at Game Grooves already.
Okay, well, SMT is next. Bye.
Yeah, I should do it at SMT, actually. Avoidance of the half cadence. 2.
Yeah.
That extra line comes from a concert arrangement from the official Arrange album. Oh my gosh, Dear Friends is album 5. What's this one called, everybody? It has a name. It's a good album. I own it. I'm stupid.
Specifically?
Something Moon, right? What's 4's Arrange album called?
Oh, I don't know. Celtic?
Celtic Moon. Thank you. Yes, it's from Celtic Moon that phrase comes from, the extension. Now in Celtic Moon, it leads into a big jig, which is obviously not here, and it's good that the jig is not here. But that transitory passage is the transition to the jig from Celtic Moon.
I see.
All right, let's hear the dancer track here.
So, this entire soundtrack was inspired a lot by Celtic music, according to Amatsu. So I'm really glad they put some of that back into the game.
Yes. I also think it was put in...
Track was.
Here it comes again. This orchestration here feels more like Uematsu's binge on trad music a little bit that bleeds into 5. And as part of the effort to elide these games, you can put a little bit of that 5 orchestration into Final Fantasy IV in these expanded sections. I think it's smart, and I think it'll pay dividends 2 months from now. Alright, that's the 3rd piece. Here's the dancer track.
We all know what this is.
There we go.
Pretty much the same.
It's not super exciting, but you have to do it now because she's not allowed to dance for you later.
And yet it's not exactly... It's not like they're just playing the actual score for Saber Dance now, right? It's still like the Final Fantasy IV arrangement rearranged for a symphony.
Right. I'm missing one bonus item yet, but we'll live without it.
Like how to fully orchestrate something that was already fully orchestrated without doing the one that was already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers there. Okay.
Can we talk about that trumpet?
I know.
Oh. Oh no.
I'm gonna let this goblin sit for a minute so we can hear this.
You want to wait mode?
No.
There's 2 things I like about this track, otherwise I don't. So, I love the little trumpet lick right at the start that you only hear once. God, that's good. Especially in later when these fights finish quickly and that's the only part you hear, you're like, hell yes, that trumpet. Victory! That's good.
I have the opposite opinion of that. I get so annoyed by that opening trumpet flurry. I'm like, that's just too much.
I also like the use of the organ as an instrument as part of this ensemble, but I don't like the way it's done. Orchestration is good, arrangement is not good, is the opinion from me.
It's very heavy. I mean, it's sort of like you took the original arrangement and added more.
Right.
And then
I don't
added
like
like slurs between the notes for the brass.
As an aside, this
like that
victory
they were-
theme's fine.
Yeah, the victory theme's fine. I don't like that they were trying to bridge the gap between like the rock orchestration we expect in a battle theme and the full symphony. I think it just came across as kind of cheesy.
Right, they're really trying to have their cake and eat it too here, right?
Yeah.
And what I think they should have
You don't
done...
need to go full orchestra on every single track.
What I think they should have done is either gone full orchestra and taken out the rock elements for the normal battles and save the prog rock for the boss, which is how I personally would have chosen to do it, or go full prog rock the entire time. But the halfway measure doesn't work. I'm sorry, Julianne. I effing love that trumpet.
That's like the only
Yeah.
I'm like,
Comes across
the
as
rest
kind of
of
cheesy.
it's like the same.
Not the whole time, just the first opening 3 notes of it.
You know there's a third option that you did not cover.
Okay.
That I think, and this goes back to what I've always thought of that battle theme. I want a mariachi.
I knew you were gonna say this.
You know I was gonna
That's
say it,
acceptable,
because
yes.
I've always thought that little trumpety flare sounds
Not
very
mariachi.
mariachi or like very Spanishy.
I didn't hear that at all. And I think
I've
that's
always heard it.
I'm 100% down for the mariachi band. That's the
And
correct take.
we just get MES to do it.
Alright,
Just
so
have them contribute the one track.
I have thoughts on Mist Cave. First of all, you can see the cave now. And the reason you can see the cave is because graphically we are eliding Earth Cave from Final Fantasy I with Mist Cave here in Final Fantasy IV. It's the same shader. The clouds.
But I'm down for it.
I don't mind it. It's just a different change, right? In the original, the whole thing is whited out. Orchestration-wise for this track, I like this here. I'm gonna leave the cave and come back so it starts again. Because the start of this one matters. Julianne has, like, pages dedicated to it here.
Yeah. Dumb idiot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like this one is a softball. Like, if they screwed this one up, I would have been really upset because, like, the timbres I think are very unmistakable.
Oh, I think the Glockenspiel edition here is actually very smart. I like it a lot, and that's not present in the original.
Yeah, but I mean, like the harp and the strings, like that's what you got in the original. Like,
Yeah.
It's otherwise pretty.
it's exactly what you would
straightforward,
expect
yeah.
it to be.
Yes.
Which I appreciate because I think the original is great. It's great. So.
Oh, I hate the strings there. I hate it. I could just picture them like trying to do like an Andre Rieu like swaying to be cool thing too while they play. I can see it. I can see the like orchestra that is trying to do this to be cool.
Again, my biggest opinion is that one trumpet flourish right at the start is baller.
That violin section's just too proud of themselves. I hate it. This is lovely.
The random encounter rate is too high for the trumpet's audacity.
It's so high in this game, so that's my issue. You
Trumpet
just hear that so much.
Have fun with Slay the Spire, Scott. Good luck.
Thank you for stopping in.
Good to see you.
Say hello, Bobby.
Yes, Julie.
Now that I know that you love it, it's better. Yeah. Okay. I don't like the jump noise. I know it's like the same. I never liked the jump noise. I thought it was so cartoony.
The jump noise here is borrowed and slightly improved from the Final Fantasy III jump noise. That's another elision in the sound effects that we're making.
Jump noise. I really never remember 3 enough. We probably played a lot of hours of that one.
We looked at 3 Pixel Master for about half an hour on stream, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. I was there.
Yeah.
I've always loved that harp.
I do agree with Dana. The Glockenspiel is a smart addition, but it'd still be a good track without it. It's really easy to make hard to make a bad version of this, right? If they had done that, it'd be low expectations for the rest.
Right. Like, this one is just, like, handed to them on a platter. Like, don't screw this up. It's not hard.
So, I want opinions on the start of this boss theme, and remember that this boss theme is different than the Element Lords, so you're not going to hear this one again for a little while.
Yeah. Yes. No.
Whoa, hello. Exclamation point.
Solo violin! Or something.
What in the Lindsay Sterling is this?
Orchid! Oh my god.
This is a Lindsay Sterling track, basically.
I should like this, but I'm not. I don't think I'm sold.
Spoilers, Dana doesn't hate this track, she hates Lindsay Sterling. And now that she thought about it that way, she's not going to be able to get over it, team. Orchestration here, I love this. Compared to the normal fight music, this is much better. That interplay between the trumpet and the violin is dope.
Okay.
The prog rock ELP organ there for just a split second is like very
The
good.
playing is far better than we would expect a Lindsay Sterling track to be. But
What?
it's a little aggressive, and it's a little aggressive on the vibrato for me. Both speed and width of vibrato, and the little portamento in there, I don't know that I like. But at least it's in tune, you know? We can't always say that for...
They did the final.
Alright, I will stop. I will stop saying mean things about people who make so much money on the internet.
Unlike
They can
us.
try their tears with their money. That's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, she don't care.
The wind sound of this, I forgot to comment on, and my comment is, oh, the wind sound. And Overworld.
Sounded like the vibrato is in post. I mean, I play with a pretty aggressive vibrato and articulation overall. I play like I'm a pop violinist in most everything. Like, I have to dial it back when I'm in certain contexts, like doing Baroque or something. So I think that's why it jumps out to me. Like, because it's something that I have to be really cognizant that I get enough, like, differentiation of color in my own vibrato.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm, like, sensitive to it.
Hey, the bomb ring.
We are
You
going
got
to
it.
do one more Super
Oh.
Nintendo comparison, and we're going to hear Rydia's theme right now, before it gets there. Because I have a moment of silence in my game. So here's the Super Nintendo version. Let me turn on my speaker relay back to the Skype call. All right, it loops from there. Very quickly, I want to turn on my Synthetic Origins sign here. And let's hear how that sounds there as well.
Synthetic Origins.
Good to see you, Anthony Dennis. Music.
Because this is one of the tracks that Matthew really kind of lifts up in his arrangement of everything with that remaster. Lucas, no, most of us are published authors on this game.
And we've even streamed the entire game before.
If we weren't, we were delivering something called a bomb thing, so kind of bad.
So, again, you're hearing Matthew Valente's Synthetic Origins original hardware reprogramming of this. The flute sample benefits a little bit from a little bit of an articulation sound that's kind of missing in the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing you lose when you have the compression going on.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I think Matthew Valente approaches everything so smartly.
Yeah.
So when, I made the comment earlier about, like, nice wording and that, claiming, like, oh, this is the, like, how it should have sounded types of rhetoric, he never does that. It's other people, like, what was it with the Donkey Kong Country samples? There was that whole...
Yeah.
And everyone's like, here's how it was supposed to sound. And my blood was boiling. I'm like, not supposed to. Like, pick another term.
I like that the buildings actually catch fire now. That's an improvement.
I like the timbres here.
They caught fire before, did they not?
No, the bombs just draw around the screen.
I like the blend here. I like the blend between the electric bass and the strings here a lot.
Yeah, this is good.
It's a good blend. Because the bass is very important in this track.
Yeah.
Glad they kept it.
And the warm timbres between this and the low strings really work together.
Yeah.
That's a cool lick too.
Yeah.
I'll leave it right here so we hear the loop. The battle themes again sound like Video Games Live concert arrangements to me. That's my take on them. The rest of this is really good though.
Yeah, you're right. I think so.
All right, here we go.
Wow.
Huh, hello, Trill. Yeah, I really like this.
Translation stuff, Cecil shouts it here. That's new and I love it.
I know, he says this a lot. I loved it.
One thing I think I really like about this is track didn't really do anything in particular for me in the original game, musically.
Yeah, it's a transitory thing, right? Look at this battle background now. It's just the green field background on the Super Nintendo, but the town is burning now.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Good.
You can feel the heat. Yeah. Aw, dang.
Sadly, Kane is gone.
Oh, womp womp.
You've traded your very awesome Dragoon, who's better than you physically, for a 6-year-old child. Who's not. While we're on the map, very quickly, I do realize that this is not a map stream. But
Oh, no. Here we go.
we have to have a conversation. In no other release of Final Fantasy IV can you see the world map in the corner.
Yeah.
It's cool. Okay, I want to talk about it for another 5 minutes, but that's really all I got.
The cave maps too. You get them in there.
Yeah, you
I
do
thought
get.
was interesting.
Yep. Look at all the cool maps, though. Ah. All
I
right.
guess it's not a map stream.
I keep pushing for it to be one.
Cartography Thursday.
Photography.
Of course Kate would be with you on this.
If this was a map stream, y'all would let me do Final Fantasy V here also, and I think we're probably going to skip it in favor of covering 4 and 6 on Thursdays. 5 is the one where you talk about the world map the whole time, and how smart
We
it
already-
is.
We already played 5.
I know.
Just a reminder, we've played it. It actually gave me that pyramid track that I ended up using in my Green Book publication. So,
Uh-huh.
which was cool because I wasn't aware of it before we played
God,
that.
how
So
long have we been doing this stuff?
5 years, right? Almost.
No.
It will be 5 years in February. Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Oh jeez.
way.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is... We are finishing year 5 of doing this, Julianne.
I started this in my 20s. Oh my god.
Oh, I'm gonna do this once because it works here. Check this out. Bam! I love that move. But it's important
Oh,
to
yeah.
note that it's available to you, and that it costs Cecil his own life force to use it. That has a lot of gameplay relevance.
I know they didn't have it. They didn't have it in the original, but you could see it in the intro. Did they add it to some other remake of FF4 that you could start using it?
It's in every edition except the US North American release on the Super Nintendo.
Okay, so it is. Okay.
The original game has it.
I remember being like, oh, I just want to do that move that he was doing on the Red Wings, but then he's stupid when he comes down. I promise.
Oh, here's Rydia's theme. I'll turn it back up. It's Recorder because she's a child. I love it.
Yay! Now we can talk my
Shakahachi
language.
flute. I don't know anything.
Finally. It's not really a
No,
recorder.
it might be shakuhachi type flute, but it's a child-like instrument. It's not...
Instruments that don't have vibrato usually symbolize ancientness and oldness and pastness or youth and purity.
Rydia is both of those things in this game, weirdly.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Plus the pastoral nature of flute-ish things lends itself to a earlier time.
An earlier time, a younger time, and maybe a medieval time.
I just read that in my own voice out loud in my head, Dana. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, you can go back to the 20 teens too. I got stuff earlier than that. Yes, Andrew, they can. Please see my article in Post Medieval in 2019.
This piece does get overshadowed by Rose's theme, by the way. I'm gonna go back to Julianne's joke earlier. It's really great.
As Hoagie Time puts foot in mouth. Puts keyboard in mouth. I don't know how it works when you don't say it.
What did I say? Some stuff I say on purpose.
So innocent.
Alright, well, let's get onward to the next thing here. We have new characters to see.
I like the flower arrangements. Very well done.
There's lots of cool little touches here that are good. So, it only shows you the exclamation point, Julianne, if you face it directly. So if you walk by the pot, nothing. If you face it, you get it. Halfway? Meet me halfway?
I don't know. I still end up checking them all, though. Like, out of habit. I check the clocks, even though that's irrelevant in this game.
Alright, this is so good, but we've heard it before, so we must move on.
It's just a cold. Oh, but with a cold. I love that.
Hello, King Brown Voice.
Alright, I love Tella. Okay.
Is an amazing soundtrack, and Tella is an amazing character. That is our
Tella is my favorite
theme.
until we get to modern gaming. Tella is my favorite representation of the way age works in a variety of ways in all of games through the PS4 era. He starts with just a couple basic spells, the spells you would expect a mage to have right now at this point in your Final Fantasy game. But he's got a special skill as well, which is Recall or Remember, where he'll just randomly shoot Fire 3 at an imp and like blast it to smithereens. Because he's a great wizard,
Yeah.
right? He knows that stuff, but he's not in his prime anymore. This is what you keep with you, right? Use it or lose it, folks.
That's what my piano teacher used to say about piano. He was not wrong.
No,
Use it so
absolutely,
quick.
that's true on piano.
Whatever.
I'm gonna be running from almost every fight in this dungeon because I just don't need to do them. And none of these characters level permanently in the classes they have now. So I'm just gonna keep running. In the original game, you were penalized for that. They take your money when you run.
Yes.
They do not
So
do that
I
here.
wasn't running at all in this game, and then I started to run. I was like, hey, I guess this is free now. Okay. One of the few games that you do, you drop things.
This is the franchise's first save point.
Wait, repeat. Wait, what did Final Fantasy 3 have? Nothing.
Overworlds. Get boned.
That was it. Oh yes, yes, because I cried in the final dungeon.
Yeah.
When I got to the end and died, and then that was like a 3-hour dungeon. Or something like that. And I threw the game across the room.
In the Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy III, it took me 7 hours to do the final dungeon. No save points.
Really
You're just,
hard.
you go.
It's a hard dungeon. It just stacks bosses on top of bosses, and you're like, well...
It's pretty famously the worst dungeon in the franchise.
Thank you. Thank you for that affirmation. My trauma.
Alright. Gonna get through to some new music here, because Damsian, the next new piece that we're gonna hear, is wildly good.
I'm gonna take this moment while the music is not new to get a little more Snoop Dogg.
I'll do that. I don't have Snoop Dogg yet. Right.
BRB.
BRB.
Sounds good.
I like
Man, I need a drink. Rats. Alright. We are gonna pick up these treasure chests. These are important. Oh, oops, the next set is important. That's okay. I love it. I could be on board if that only played for the boss themes and there was a gentler intro to the normal fights, Julian. But the flourish on the boss fight start on the trumpet was super good.
Yeah, I like that one. Because you don't hear it that much, I guess.
Now that I'm running, you only hear the trumpet flourish, and I will admit... That's the box I didn't want to miss. Shadow Blade.
Remember how we talked about how in the new version you can you don't interrupt the music with the boss music? You come back to the...
Yeah, it saves your position in the track, right?
It saves your position in the track, yes. It's a much better way of saying that. You know how the music interrupts the music and then you don't have the music and the music... Yeah. We talked about this in your classes that I visited. That's where we talked about it. I'm like, when did we talk about this?
Yes. I'm still assigning your book chapter, so if you want to swing by and chat about that again, you're more than welcome to.
Hi.
Next time I get to teach a video game class, I want to do guests.
I'm hoping I get some money again for next semester. So I can invite some folks.
I essentially never have funding, but usually folks will come talk to a class without money.
Yeah, there's also the exchange agreement.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if I can ever find money in the dark recesses of bureaucracy of university, I will try. But it's very hard to find. I had a special fellowship postdoc-y kind of thing last year that I don't have. I think not sure I'll access that. Yeah.
There you go. Very easy boss. Though I want to point something out about the boss. About the way Rydia works.
Oh, it just makes me laugh.
Rydia's Chocobo summon is really good now. That's not true of the original game. But look at this.
Oh, Karen, I'm so disappointed I forgot to be like, hey, stop into Medieval Week.
I am bummed.
You would have been so good.
I'm really bummed that I missed that. I truly am. I just wanted to be part of it, and I'm I failed because I didn't read the syllabus correctly. I read it, but then I also just didn't know what week it was.
Okay. Dana. I liked it better when it was after Mam because they couldn't fit Mammoth in all of the.
I was gonna say, wasn't it like Octomama? I was trying to remember what it was, and then I was like, no, that's Octomom. That's the lady that.
It's like when Octomom like happened and was popular, I could just only think of this song.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm like, oh, that's what it was supposed to be. It's kind of sad, like spell names that got like weirdly shortened.
They use he/him pronouns with it, and I'm like, no. I mean, whatever, but it was definitely she, her, hers when I played here in 1990.
Octo, not the mama.
Oh my goodness.
Dinosaurs has such a depressing ending.
Dinosaurs.
It really does. That was a scarring show.
Yeah. That last episode, it's like everything up to there, you're just like, haha, dumb sitcom. And then you get to the end, you're just like, oh.
Right.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, it gets pretty real
like
there at the end.
capitalism and climate change. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, okay. I can't watch this anymore. I'm like,
All right,
This is
listen,
no longer
listen,
a fun
listen.
escape.
yeah.
I'm gonna go get the secret treasures while we listen. You're just supposed to run up and find the castle in disarray, but there's a big room down here that almost nobody knows about. Julian's correct.
Hello. Oh.
Karen, we can hear you, like, scratching near your
Oh.
microphone.
Sorry.
The second half of that whole arrangement is absolutely unnecessary, and it's awesome.
I know. I
Yeah.
just love how much extra effort. Like, it just made me so happy because it's really not a super important track in this game.
No, not at all. You're only at this castle one time because, hey, it's been bombed. It's not a castle anymore. It sucks.
Right.
This is the only time it plays.
Yeah.
So good, though.
Are they singing text? I can't really tell.
It sounds like it, but
It is
choppy.
texted, yes.
Do we know what the text is?
No.
I can't tell.
All right, I'm gonna look it up.
Look it up, thank you.
Oh, Darth Plague's correct. This plays in Castle Eblon as well. You're right.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was somewhere else. Like,
That's the way that needed to sound. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
dun, dun, dun. That was always extra dramatic. I'm glad it still is. This is all a telenovela, this whole scene.
Oh my god.
from beginning to end.
Yeah, this is not the bard that Ryan generally portrays himself as.
Oh, I thought you were making a pun with telenovela.
Oh my god.
Julianne is so much more clever than she gives herself credit for.
It's really far. I'm gonna write that down.
I heard that as
That organ cracks me up.
the double entendre. I like Edward's coloring here, by the way. He looks more like a red mage than he used to. Because he used to be pink and very effeminate. And I like that they have kind of, again, elided his artwork with the other classes from Final Fantasy III a little bit. So he looks like that bard who's blonde.
Get the buttons. Yeah, I feel like I've seen Chris Maloney's butt, but why do I think that?
Because it's usually all over Twitter, especially when he does a magazine spread in like some awesome magazine that takes pictures of his butt. It is worthy of observation.
This is very synthy compared to everything else we've had so far.
Yeah, it is.
Like, there's a bell sound and there's an electric piano sound, neither of which we've heard up to this point.
A little like in Labyrinth. Like, there's some stuff like this in Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I wonder why they chose this.
I like it.
I don't know. I'm medium about it.
It's spoilers for me to suggest why they've chosen it, but I'm willing to go there.
Go there.
This,
Spoilers for this game?
yes, this synth timbre in the main melody right now is associated with space motives and topics.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
Exciting.
It
like
points us forward to when we go there, to space, later.
I just thought that was so cool when I was a kid. Like, this game's so big, you go to space. Like, what?
Right?
Yeah.
Not just 2 world maps anymore, but 3 maps. A good template for when they really get their map game on. You've done it again, Julian. In Final Fantasy V, where they have maps that fold onto each other.
Map stream.
Oh, here, we get this track now.
We know this one from Ryan's background.
Yeah, you're right. Just how much they can do to change this.
That's right. The sheet music here in the background is the piece you're now hearing.
Mm-hmm. Here you go. Thanks for taking a screen away so you can see it.
Wow, I didn't know that about dinosaurs. Sally Struthers, Jessica Walter,
Yeah, it's a lot of talented
and
people
Christopher
in
Malone.
dinosaurs.
Holy moly! How did I never know that?
Jessica
haven't
Walter and
rewatched
Sherman
it.
Hemsley.
Now, I really like this on Loot because that's what Edward holds in the Amano artwork, right? If you've all seen my custom fight stick and associated artwork and logos elsewhere, I've got cool paintings of that here. This is also, though, a very softball piece, to use Dana's language, right? You can't mess this up, basically.
Right.
I was gonna hold it up and show everybody, but I don't see where it is. And I don't want to move the painting off the wall where the source artwork comes from. So you're just gonna have to tolerate these annoying ladies, is what you're gonna have to do. All right, We need to go save Rosa from Desert Fever. We'll go do that. I don't like having to go save Rosa from Desert Fever for what it's worth. I think it's annoying. It's an annoying waste of time, plot-wise.
So rude. If only she were vaccinated. God. Wasting our resources to go fight this ant lion.
Wow.
Well, it's
We are
because it
getting
takes us away from the
political tonight.
plot of, like, overthrowing Baron and getting to the crystals plot line, right?
It
That's
is
what I
true.
want.
It slows things down. It like really.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of slowing things down, Julianne, my biggest complaint about this game so far, this is weak. In the original game, the hovercraft was twice this speed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was, but it was also hard to control on like an enemy.
Alright. Let's go fight an antlion. There's nothing in this dungeon that we need. All these boxes are stupid. Don't need them. That's the box we need, with the one other harp that he can equip. There's only 2 of them in this game. Don't need to do any of this nonsense. I am gonna save and get these 3 boxes. Because this box is important.
Uh-huh.
So that I can get the hell out of here when I'm done.
The heck out.
Oh, Rydia's dead.
Way to
Shame.
go.
Alright. Antlions do attack people, Edward.
Yeah, there he is.
I like how they explain that it's the secretion of like the stuff that comes out with the eggs, right?
Yes.
Like that's where the ruby comes from. Like they actually explain it. Like, oh, okay. Ew.
The secret to this fight is only Cecil can attack, because only he does damage worth it relative to the damage the antlion does back to you. As long as everybody else does nothing, you will win this fight. Whenever Edward is in your party, you should just do nothing with him. That's
He's slightly better though in the remake, I thought. He's slightly less episode.
not in this remake, though.
Or am I just screwed now? I'm just like, okay. I feel
So,
bad now.
weirdly, if you get him in the randomizer... Let me turn down the music so I can talk for a minute. If you get him in the randomizer, he's good in a couple situations. Because you can find the endgame Wyvern Evil Bahamut boss that opens with Mega Flare and you're just screwed. He can hide from that and dodge it.
Oh.
And he only does one of those, so it actually works. He can also hide from Golbez when Golbez, at one point in the plot, paralyzes everybody and kills everybody that's not Cecil. Edward can hide from that. This is not the randomizer. We don't care about any of that. He sucks.
Yeah. And Ruby.
The emergency exit graphic is the teleport magic imagery from the rest of the Pixel remasters, but it comes to us first in Final Fantasy 1 now. That's an exact note from the first 3 releases. Look at us slowly walking back to Kaipo now.
Yeah, it is way faster.
Not hovercrafting there. This is just walking. I hate it.
Cloaca of the Anti. How often do you get to use the word cloaca?
Anytime that I get to say cloaca.
It's a good day.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited because I was able to get that couch for like $400, which is not bad for a brand new couch. I think it was like at least 3 times that originally, so I was really happy. But yeah, and the best thing was I was there with my parents to buy this couch, and they hadn't seen Arrested Development, so I'm just like standing in a Levin furniture, like quoting Tobias Funke to 2 people that hadn't seen the show.
Oh God.
Yeah, not
Oh
good.
God, the farting!
Oh
I
yeah,
do
the
think-
fact that you can like give her the bomb ring.
Right, I do think why do they still have the bomb ring is a legitimate question.
I know. I think I tried to click on it on my playthrough.
I like the slight retard on the bum bum bum.
I mean, it would solve the problem, just not in the way. If you gave her the bomb ring, it would solve the problem. I'm just saying.
You mean the problem is her being sick?
Yeah.
Right.
The bomb ring would solve the problem. It just wouldn't cure her, shall we say.
That's one of the things Norm Macdonald, who passed away this week, if you've not seen the news, said about cancer, that it doesn't kill you per se and win, you duel it to a draw.
Yeah, that's a good. I always hated this scene because I was like, I don't care. I hated Edward as a kid, but
So-
I less hate.
Why
now.
did we not update the cricket or whatever cicada noise? Why does it still sound so like electronic?
I thought it's a little better.
Maybe a little bit.
It's got some sensitive articulation.
Here's some trivia for you that elides the games again. Edward has the stat development of the Onion Knights from Final Fantasy III. And what I mean by that is he sucks the entire time until you get him to level 90, at which point he starts gaining 100 stat points a level.
Oh.
And he'll swing harder than Cecil with the Crystal Sword does, if you max him out. Now, catch. You have to do that before you hit the next town, because that's the last time he's playable in the whole game here.
I know.
So good luck doing that.
I can't live without you. Shut up. Let us continue the plot.
One of the weird things about Final Fantasy IV, the After Years... Hold on, we have to give Rose her
Sounds like a
stuff
Saved
here.
by the Bell reunion.
Is that
The after years.
Edward's new girlfriend in the After Years is like this naughty librarian dominatrix character who is absolutely
So
in
question.
charge of Edward because Edward does not know what to do and doesn't want to be in charge, right? It's this like ongoing
course.
thing.
That dynamic.
So it's Quistis. He's dating Quistis.
Brunette version, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
I love that little like please speak.
Time to pay your late,
Late
fees.
fees.
Ew.
She's just like hushing him all the time.
Right. Here's one of many cool gameplay mechanics as plot moments in FF4.
Yes.
Now, I didn't check her spell list, but she has lightning and she has ice. She can't cast fire.
Yeah, which
Oh.
like you kind of want to do at some point before because you encounter monsters that might be weak to fire and you're like, oh, why can't she cast fire?
Right.
And then you come across this and you're like, oh wow, that's just like
It really hits you, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Dang. And that's such a good ludonarrative consonance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dang.
If you over level her significantly at this point in the game, and you notice that I've not finished a single fight with her alive so far, she can learn Fire 2, Fire 3, and Meteor, like right now. But she can't learn Fire 1 unless you go to this cutscene.
I like that she gets a fanfare for that, for her bravery.
Yay.
Very good. I do like that the ice melts from the fire.
What do they call that in exposure therapy for phobia treatment? Right, where you expose yourself to the thing you're scared of.
Normally that doesn't
funny.
involve like creating it bodily, right? Like.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
Bodily.
By the way, the reason we're fighting skeletons here, and I'm just going to continue to run because like we don't need fights, is that Cecil's sword only does 1 damage ever to undead enemies. He's a Dark Knight and can't fight them. That's another ludonarrative consonance thing that this game's got going on.
very nice.
Right? You'll never be able to defeat evil with the dark sword.
And I like how they, like before this, he's the strongest character that you always have, and he hits really hard, and he's like, he's your main person, and then you get to this point, and he's so by
Yes.
that tension, and you're like, oh, okay.
You might notice that I put both women with bow and arrow, by the way. One of the
yeah.
major game balance changes is that every arrow you find is a new permanently equipable item that's not, you can't run out anymore.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, do I run out of these?
And actually, that makes Rosa and Rydia significantly better at physical combat than they were in the original game. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not even a close comparison. It's like triple the damage number when they have the bow versus the staff. And on my main file that I'm almost done with, I've managed, through a random item drop, I found a second Yoichi arrow. So both of those ladies are now, like,
Wow.
killer archers. It's Yang. He's the best.
It is fabulous.
He's fabulous. As I said in chat. And
He's
look
got-
at that mustache. Look at that, like, Hulk Hogan mustache. It's so good.
Yes.
So see it now.
I keep, like, really shocking my graduate students by, like, referencing things that they aren't expecting me to reference. And last night I referenced professional wrestling, and they were, like, dumbstruck. It was awesome.
Nice.
Because we were talking about, like, critics. And having, like, biases toward what they're looking for, and because we were talking about reception to Clara Schumann, Piano Concerto, and A.J. Beach. And I was like, okay, so does anyone follow professional wrestling? And they were like, what? Because there is the kind of main critic in professional wrestling is this guy, David Meltzer. And, like, he's so well known that if you refer to, like, a match and you say, like, oh, that's a 5-star match, they mean that, like, he's the one that gave it 5 stars. Very well respected. And so I brought it up because he has amended his original 5-star system in the past decade or so, because the style of wrestling has kind of changed to what he wants to see. So he started giving things over 5 stars, so he had to change his system. So we were talking about, you know, critical bias there. Of, like, he likes a particular style, and now that there's a lot more of that, like, he's giving out these 5-star candy, you know. Whereas the 80s and 90s had very little of that. But yeah, that came up in a discussion about like Clara Schumann, so I think they were like, what?
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
I'm no nerd. I'm a dork.
I'm a
geek. I'm a geek.
Rosa, by the way, is the franchise's best archer. She can't miss.
Good job, Rosa.
She's like the game's best white mage as a result.
I love the word mom bomb.
Mom bomb.
Mom bomb.
Mom bomb. Glad that didn't change.
Rosa is Italian for pink. Let's tell her pink. Yes, Kate, it is like how Hollywood starts giving out more handshakes.
Yes.
Yeah. He used to be so stingy about it, and the more of it that I've watched, I'm like, man. And part of that is I feel like a lot of these longer running reality TV shows, like the standard does actually get higher overall after they run it for a lot of years.
I'm mad that Edward just chose to leave the battlefield. I forgot that he did that. He's not a good character. Okay.
He's trash.
We have to go to Fabul, which is the
Hi,
next town with
Jarrell.
a crystal. Hey, Jarell.
Come here.
Yang is awesome. I'm really sad that you don't get to keep him for the whole game. He kind of leaves you at some point.
Oh my god, the spoilers.
Edward was tired.
Well, the reason I'm bringing it up is because he's replaced... He's a cool dual-handed martial artist, right? And he's replaced by a different dual-wielding martial artist. What? No, just pick one.
You have to have your classes be consistent with the narrative, you know. The Ludo narrative.
Right, in Final Fantasy III, ninjas are better than monks, therefore you must end the game with a ninja, right? Again, we're connecting across the franchise here.
There you go. Edward just had to go to the library. He had to meet that new girlfriend.
Nice.
Okay.
The new girlfriend in After Years is Harley, and she's got a French accent not unlike the person in Chrono Cross, but it's clearly not her.
Oh my god, Chrono Cross. I forgot.
Remember when we played that?
Oh, why is my Discord freezing?
My Discord's freezing too, but I can still hear it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. It just came back.
It just came back. Right. That's okay.
Oh wait, we gotta hear this track for a minute.
Wow, this is big.
This track, you mean?
Yeah,
Pretty faithful to the original.
huge.
It's not the biggest version that you could have.
Pretty big though.
It is.
Possible timpani.
Unclear.
Where's Doug when we need him? Hi, Pete.
Oh, well, are we getting to Mysidia?
Yeah, we will.
Alright.
Oh, I can't wait. That's one I'm really looking forward to hearing what they did.
We'll do Mount Ordeals next week, but we'll get to Mysidia this week.
Alrighty.
Yeah, where's Doug when we need a ruling on possible timpani?
I think this is possible, especially if you have 4, right?
Oh, I guess it's more than one. I always think it's one person. I don't know.
No, it's one person, 4 kettle drums, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, okay. If you read it. Alright.
I haven't heard more than 4 notes yet.
Got it. You're right. I didn't know if that went up chromatically for a second, but it's hard to hear. On stream, it's easier to hear when you're not on stream. So I go to the chat for questions.
Alright.
We will assemble it.
This is the only time we hear this track, basically. You don't really return to Fabul very much. If you want to hear a very cool arrangement of the track, though, I am part of I think 8 or 10 voice men's choir that does a rock Latin arrangement of this on the Final Fantasy IV album. And I am one of 2 people who sings every part in the choir.
Dang.
That is some range. Oh, that advertisement coming, says Jarrell. Yeah, I'll link it.
I'm not on very many Overclocked remix tracks, but all of the ones I'm on are bangers.
I want to be on an Overclocked remix arrangement album. Dang. I don't play anything well anymore. That's my problem.
Is it Echoes of Betrayal, Light of Redemption? Is that it?
Yes. And I will warn you, Dana, in advance, not every track on that album will be to your taste. In terms of the ways in which you like arrangements to work, I can think of a couple you will straight up not like. But, the Fabul track is good. Yeah, Jarrell's got you covered, too.
Leshy.
My favorite track from that album is not Andrew's Fabul Choir, though. There's an incredible chamber orchestra arrangement of the Lunar Whale theme on that album that's mind-blowingly excellent. Just an exercise in what good orchestration can look like.
I may need to finally crowdsource everybody's favorite OCR. I really don't give them enough space.
It is.
I'm always trying to play fun stuff for Josephine, so that this may be a good way to, like, get into it.
The Red Wings track that opens this album is ridiculous as well. Those are the 2 best tracks in the album.
I was listening to this whole album before I knew you, Ryan. That's kind of fun.
Nice.
That's interesting. It's one of the first albums I, like, burned on a CD and listened to in my first tour, I think. Like,
the OCR Final Fantasy IV album?
Yeah, I was like, oh, Echoes of Betrayal, Light of Redemption, absolutely. That was it.
Yeah, I have the physical copy of that album sitting over on the shelf. There are a limited number of physicals printed.
I'll donate money later.
I donated money today to a certain GoFundMe.
Ah,
I finally had some paychecks come in, so I was able to do that.
I finally making the right assumption. Everyone's been just so amazing. I was like, I'm just so overwhelmed, and I'm just so happy that we can like play video games, you know, and play Final Fantasy IV. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, if you need to hear a story about how the internet can be good sometimes while we have this battle track over and over, if you have not heard, stream viewer friends, Julian's family was pretty significantly affected by the remnants of Hurricane Ida flying through New Jersey, and people from all over the world have come up with, I think, just over $100,000 to help her family and her grandparents kind of rebuild the farm.
We can't even comprehend. We can't comprehend it. I was on a 2-hour phone call with my dad last night, and I was talking. I'm like, my friends, people that I just know from like my streaming and stuff like that. Like, just to have, it's just I see. I can't even talk. I mean, I normally can't even talk, but like even more can't even talk. It's just been really overwhelmingly wonderful, and it just reminds me why this community is so awesome. Yeah. That's that.
It feels good to see the world working the way the world is supposed to work.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, a lot of folks have chosen to remain anonymous, making donations to the GoFundMe. So it's like we don't even know some of the folks that are doing it, but I've seen names of like people I went to high school with. So I'm like, oh, cool. Like sharing that actually led to like a person doing a thing, you know, where I'm like, we're not so close that I would have expected it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's stuff like that where I'm like, that's really cool.
Oh.
All right, we have to fight Kane now. Serious business, death time. Sorry.
Meanwhile.
So, Meanwhile is actually a track name in this game.
I know.
This
track?
It is not this track, sadly.
This is suspicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Kane jumps against you, he goes up and down instantly. Did you all notice that? Whew, bam! There's no wait period.
Yeah. Come on. What did you get in those levels? Simping for Rosa, like with Golbas in the background? Absolutely no.
So, this piece here is my favorite boss entrance of all time. I love this piece of music.
Ooh, okay. So a thing came to me via Facebook that I'm going to crowdsource here.
Okay, I'll wait on the piece entrance. What?
It's a local, it's like a friend of a friend, local radio DJ type who wants to start playing more video game music. And he's based in like a classical radio station. He's looking for like really good examples of orchestrated video game music.
Yeah.
So I guess it could be covers, but like, what are some of our favorites?
Impossible question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
You know, something that you could reasonably play in like a classical setting, as opposed to like he's basically saying like he doesn't want like MIDI 8-bit or like rock stuff as much as it might shred.
The Final Fantasy VII Remake soundtrack is a good starting point.
Yeah. Because the first thing that came to mind for me, I mean, it's maybe not full orchestra, but like that could go well on that type of program, is anything from like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture by Jessica Curry.
Yep.
Like The Morning Tree.
I'm going to pick something that isn't maybe as immediate, and that is there's a wildly good oud solo in Uncharted 2 for the title screen there. And then you get that good brass hero entrance that kind of works for your casual listening audience as well. Anyway, let's listen to this
feel free to drop
entrance
more
by Golbez. This. Yes.
Organ.
Yeah. When we get our Bach quotation in here.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, well, let's let this play for a while here. Yes, Jarrell's correct. God, I need to play more Final Fantasy 14. Have less of a job now. I just have to, like... All I want to do is play 14 all the time. Mostly because I am... Hold on, wait for this bot quotation. Yeah.
Bill.
This is another one of those pieces that is handed to you, arrangement-wise, because the original's so good and you don't change it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
But it remains good.
It's still good.
Part of why playing Final Fantasy XIV is so much fun is I am playing it with the best 9 other people on the planet, basically, to play that game with, including Jarrell. You're awesome.
Did the server like unbreak to make a new character?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I need to check that, because if you can make new characters again, then I need to continue to bug Julian. That's like a running thing now.
Well, I had a break for a little bit. No one was bugging me about Final Fantasy 14.
I hear it's free to play until level 6.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Wait,
it is. Check it out.
60? What level is it? Do you have your mug?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's right there. He picked it up immediately.
He picked it up immediately, yeah. And it has doesn't that have a typo on it?
It does, yes. I was offered to buy a replacement for very cheap and chose not to. I'm not going to be, like, mad at the artist. It's fine.
You have the original.
I kind of like it better with a typo.
Yeah, for $1 million in tech. Beanie Babies.
Still locked down. Too bad.
Anyway, we have to get to Mysidia, which means we have to click through a
Yes,
bunch of
we do.
text. Hold on. In the next 10 minutes.
And I gotta think of more orchestrated. I should look through what other people have recommended too.
Like, as in playable by an orchestra.
I think he's looking for like the track itself is orchestra.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's Mario Galaxy.
Some folks have recommended some Civilization stuff. Shadow of the Colossus.
Civilization.
Music. I'm not saying video game music is not actually.
Yeah, I can't wait for us to work on Medieval.
Hold on, I gotta get these boxes. Okay, because I need that shield to do the job in a minute here for next week. Let's go talk to the king. He's out
Aaron,
there.
what in your background is coming through your background? Oh, went away. Never mind.
Oh, sweet. John Robert Matz actually is on this thread recommending the Ambition score. I was like,
There
sweet,
you go.
because that was in my list before. Now I don't have to recommend it.
Nice. Oh, we have to go to the inn first. I'm so silly. Okay.
Yeah, that would fit in perfectly.
Yeah, I've hung out with John Robert Matz a couple times virtually over the pandemic, and then a couple times before that at Game Sound Con and various events. He's absolutely like even cooler in person than he was on stream a couple weeks ago.
That was
Just
a really fun
the best
stream.
person.
Yeah.
You're so talented and such a delight to talk to. I just love when you meet someone that is, you know, of that caliber of musician and composer, and then like they're a really cool person.
Yeah.
Because that is not always the case. And
Correct.
True.
so much better when they're just like great people all around and they're so talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, similarly also, though we all know him a little bit better, like, even as much as we talk about how good he is, we don't talk enough about how good Doug Perry is as a performer.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's just like a baseline given of the stream how good Doug is.
Yeah.
Can't say it enough. Like, we all know, but you just, like, can't.
It's true.
Gotta keep saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jarrell,
this
that's
is a good
true. I
track.
only ever see him at, like, conference or convention stuff. So, but yes, accurate. And he was in, like, a baller outfit as well on stream. Like, with a medal, right? Like...
Did have a medal on. That was awesome. I really like this track, by the way.
Yeah, he's always in a perfect suit.
Oh, you did not play the track?
It auto-skipped it, Julianne. There's no dialogue. It just goes.
No, you can stop and listen because I did. You
Okay, well, I'll go back in the sound test in a minute. I want to get to my Cydia in 6 minutes, okay?
Okay, I forgot what time it was. Oh my god, okay.
Can we talk
Look
about
at
this
that water.
water effect right here? Holy cow.
Yes.
Yeah.
The graphics here are, like, way better than they need to be. It's awesome.
They just really, like, whoever the water person was, assuming
Right.
it's, like, one person that's like, I'm doing the water, just give them all the awards.
Best
Yes.
water goes to.
Best water goes to the Final Fantasy, the Pixel Remaster water guy. It could be a lady, but guy is gender neutral in the Northeast. I will maintain that.
It's true.
I try not to
respect
say
that.
guy too much, but like when I have a few glasses of wine, I default to use guys, which is very gender neutral.
Right, use guys is not gendered in the
No,
Northeast.
not at all. Not in the slightest.
Best
Shiver me
love, good
timbers, best translation. Okay.
love. I know. Holy mackerel.
I mean, you can't have the sailors have like salty sailor language. This is still a family game.
Right.
So
Holy
holy mackerel and shiver me timbers. Yeah, that's
Look how
Perfect.
big Leviathan is in this version now. I love it.
perfect.
So Rydia goes overboard, Yang dives in after her to try and save her.
I feel like there's some really obvious ones I'm missing. Because I'm seeing a lot of the samey types of stuff on this thread, so I want to introduce some.
Link me in our chat to that thread in Facebook, and I'll go over there and make some recommendations in 10 minutes here.
Okay.
Right as about the time you get a full party of adventurers, the game resets itself, which I like a lot.
Yeah. Quite unusual for the time.
Yes.
And then you get sad music on the overworld, which is still the overworld theme, but sad.
That will only last until one battle, then it resets to normal, for what it's worth.
I know, I hate that.
But we have to hear this piece and Palom
have to
Emporum's
hear
theme
this.
before we end. Because my goodness, both of those pieces are doing something here in the Pixel Remaster. Here we go.
What?
Dana's face is my favorite right now. It's everything. Jarrell's correct, for what it's worth. Absolutely correct. It's Black Mage Village from Final Fantasy IX.
This is weird. This is weird choices.
I like it.
I don't know.
Julianne is just really pleased that the Kuika remains really strong and prominent.
Yes,
Kuika remains
that's true.
strong, and there's an added level of Kuika, which I love.
Yes, I'm here for that.
So, have all of you heard the piece that Jarrell is referencing?
Yes. And now I kind of hear that.
Let's play it though, because I think that's a useful comparison to make.
Yeah, Jarrell's spot on.
Which is like Black Mage Village is already looking backwards, so it's really funny.
Yeah, so here we go. Here's Black Mage Village.
That is not what that's supposed to be.
There's the bass line coming in that is kind of
The
bringing
Kuika's
us
gonna
that
hear.
mood, right? And your Kuika again. This totally works for my Cydia. Look at me moving around here.
It does.
It truly does work.
All right, let's pause that. Unmute Final Fantasy IV.
I don't hate this. It's just so not what I was expecting.
We'll restart it again here.
But what were you expecting? Because this is
I don't-
pretty.
I don't know, but not this.
I don't know if I expected anything either.
It's wildly different from the marimba piece that we got in the Super Nintendo version, right? That's really what it's playing with your
Yeah.
expectations. I do think it's pointing forward to Final Fantasy IX's Black Mage Village. That's
Yeah, that's a smart take. I wasn't expecting the strings to have that like such a like Celtic-y sound.
Yeah. Well, that is the fun of the time. I don't get before soundtrack. Here I go.
Yeah, exactly.
all right. Here we go. Let's do the. We have 2 more tracks, then we'll be done for the day. This is our Tower of Wishes track, right?
Like the same.
Also, I can't find anything about the text for that the
like
choir that we were wondering
Indian.
about.
I don't think it's ever been translated because the game is only, what, 2.5 weeks old?
the question is, what language is it in? Because like I couldn't tell. The audio on the stream wasn't quite good enough to tell. So
I thought it was Latin, but I would have had to go back and rehear it.
Oh, I never heard the second part.
I'm
This
trying to
this
look it
second
up.
part is cool.
What track was that had the? It was it Damn Cyan?
It's Damn
Yeah.
Cyan. That flourish right there felt almost Chrono Triggery to me, and I can't articulate why.
Well, it's got the zeal in it because of these like tabla drums and which gives you that sort of like sky worship crap that you get in Mysidia. Not
Sky worship crap. I'll take it.
You go like you know the prayer area where it's like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
sky? That's like where it really feels like, oh, this really felt zealish to me.
Legit. Alright, one more track here.
Drums.
We're gonna need help if we're gonna get over to Mount Ordeals. So let's get some help. Here we go.
Oh my god. This sounds very similar to how it was.
It does. This is very similar to the Super
I'm
Nintendo.
hearing it as untexted voice, unless I have the wrong thing up. Oh, here we go. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna have to listen to that more closely. It's really hard to make out.
It is.
Please report back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Alright.
How?
We are off to
Alright.
Mount Ordeals, which we will do next week.
Stopping point.
It's a really good stopping point, actually. I don't even have to like do any extra leveling except 5 fights on the way to Mount
I
Ordeals.
mean, this is like, yeah, it's like Act 1 is done right here.
Right. We're starting the next part of the game.
Yeah.
Right,
I
there is
love
a
this
death
stuff.
metal remix of Palamon Forum on OCR.
I'm here for that. That's high school me right there.
Alright.
Alright. That's gonna bring us to a close for the day. Who else is
so
on
fun.
right now? Who do I want to raid? That's the button. Oh.
Doctors. I guess that's true.
Let me see here. Let me go to my whole list.
Good to see you, Jarrell. We love when you're able to catch us.
It's true.
Yeah.
Naps are important, though.
Naps are very important, so I was gonna say thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate the sacrifice.
Alright. No one I follow is streaming right now, so we're just gonna end it for the day. If there was somebody cool, I'd bounce over, but I don't find anybody. So, we will see folks next week for the very cool tracks at the top of Mount Ordeals, which, though it's
Won't be
positioned
fun.
as like a big dungeon, it's not. It's 4 screens. So,
Yeah, it's bigger than it is. It's really
Right.
short.
in any case, we will see folks next week. Bye, everybody.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Bye,
good
folks.
night, y'all.